Well, the weekend is drawing to a close, but that doesn't stop us here. So today we're going to be reviewing the All-Star Junior Festival USA, where we're going to see the best of the junior heavyweight competitors in the world. Doesn't matter if it's here in the US, in Japan, Mexico, Canada, anywhere. So we're going to see some awesome matches taking place. And of course, we're going to do the Multiverse 2, the For Whom the Belt Is, a collaboration between both Impact Wrestling and New Japan Pro Wrestling. So there's gonna be some awesome matches, but I'm sure everybody are looking forward to the one match I'm sure everybody wants to see, which is for me is the New Japan Strong Women's Championship match in a four-way match. But also we got a very short news updates for everybody to tell what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling. So let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, Jay, right here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is where we review a lot of pro wrestling shows from various promotions. So if you like this channel, please subscribe to us. We'll be reviewing daily and also throwing some news updates and whatever we throw at. If you like this episode, please give us a like or give us a nice comment down below. Give me a second. My throat is a bit dry. Much better. Much better. Now, our first review we're going to be doing is the All-Star Junior Festival USA. Now, those who aren't familiarized with this, let me explain what this one. This is a project that was started by Hiromu Takahashi, who is our current IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Now, back in March, there was one show that was held in Korakuen Hall where we see many Japanese wrestlers who are part of the Junior Heavyweight division. However, these are wrestlers that many fans may not have seen daily. Like, you don't see them in New Japan or anywhere else. They were from promotions from not only New Japan, but Noah, Dragon Gate, DDT, Michinoku, Pro Wrestling, various others, And of course, Rocky Romero, who's been a highly recognized wrestler in the junior heavyweight division, completely loved the show, and he thought of the idea, let's bring this to the US. And during a New Japan Strong show, of course, Rocky brought this upon Hiromu, saying that, it's going to happen. So they had to book a lot of good wrestlers. So they had to get wrestlers not only from Japan, but also from here in the US and Canada. This is one of those pay-per-views you definitely don't want to miss if you're a big fan of the junior heavyweight division. Now, our first match, well, it's more of a kickoff match. We have Vinny Pacifico versus Goldie. Now, I have seen Vinny Pacifico before, but Goldie was mentioned by the commentators that he is currently in training in the New Japan Dojo, which is, of course, pretty cool. So it kind of goes out to say how much he has learned from that, but Goldie was the one able to pick up the win when he applied like a springboard flying knee, giving him the win. I'm sure we'll be seeing him more often since he is training in the LA dojo, but we'll see what happens till then. Now, our opening show, we have Shun Skywalker and Bushi taking on Matt Sydal and Yo. Now, this is a very interesting match because, of course, Bushi and Shun are one of those two wrestlers you definitely know more about. Bushi, a member of LIJ, but he also was a former IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion. Shun Skywalker, one of the most incredible Junior Heavyweight competitors we've seen. But some people say that he looks more like he's built for heavyweight. But anything's a possibility with him. But they face against Matt Sydal and Yo, two highly recognized wrestlers. I thought this match was pretty good. I thought it was going to be interesting, but in the end, it was of course a bridge by Yo onto Bushi to pick up the win. But however, uh, of course, Bushi and Shun were right there, right in the ring until Bushi black missed Shun out of nowhere. I think he's mad or he just doesn't like him. Bushi doesn't like that a lot of people that much. That's who he is. But yeah, that's how he rolls. Now, our next two matches are part of the All Star Junior USA tournament. Our first match, we have Kevin Knight and Clark Connors. Now, these two guys are no strangers from each other. They were also trained in the LA dojo. We all know where Clark Connor ended up. Finley convinced him, saying he's better off joining him since Shibata didn't do a damn thing. But Kevin Knight, as people would say, he stayed on the straight and narrow. As you know, he was an IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champion with his mentor, Kushida, and he's currently making headways down in Impact Wrestling. So this is one of the battles of the Young Lions, former Young Lions, or whatever they are. But in the end, it was of course a crucifix by Kevin Knight that picked up the win. I thought it was a pretty good one. But however, Clark Connors, who is such a sore loser, decided to beat up Clark Connors to send a direct message. As you know, Clark Connors will not tolerate the fact that he lost, but it is what it is. Even Kevin Knight knows the kind of man he is now. Now, our next match of this tournament is Mike Bailey versus Francesco Akira. This is a pretty good match. I mean, people love Mike Bailey. If you guys remember clearly, Mike Bailey was one of those people that could have won the Best of the Super Juniors, but it did not. But it was a pretty good match, I'm not going to lie. Francesco Akira, well known in the junior heavyweight division, especially with All Japan. He is yet to win the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title. He has been tag champion with TJP, but his ultimate goal is to defeat the one wrestler who has been considered the best in the junior heavyweight division, and that is none other than El Desperado. But I have to say the match was pretty great, but it was in fact Mike Bailey with the Flamingo driver that put him away, that allowed him to advance into the finals. So the finals will be our main event. Now, our next match, we have an interesting trios match. We have Starboy Charlie, Jack Carwill, and Rio One, or as we know him, Enzo Amore. Of course, Rio One goes out to do his little thing. He's a certified G and whatnot. But their opponents, well, this is a very good one. We have the DKC, Rich Swann, and Ryosuke Taguchi. Now, I'm sure there were fans that looked like they were rooting for Taguchi. He's a real fun wrestler to enjoy. Sometimes he does his little shenanigans, because he has a funky weapon. But it was, of course, the 450 splash by Swann that ended the match by pinning Starboy Charlie. But in the end, of course, they play his theme song, his Impact Wrestling theme song, and it was so fun that everybody was getting in the mood. Even Ian Riccaboni wanted to get involved, but Matthew Winroth told him, no, don't get involved. So I thought it was great. Now, our next match is what they call a Lucky Dip 8-man tag team match. Now, the idea is this: 8 competitors will be in the ring, but however, they'll be set up by teams by drawing out straws. Now, the idea how it goes, you pull a straw, well, not an actual straw you drink, but more like a stick. In the end of the stick has a tip of color. There's blue and red. So this is who they had for the blue color. We have Cheeseburger, Ace Austin, TJP, and Yoshinobu Kanemaru. As for the red, we have Chris Bay, TMDK, Eagles, and Fujita, and Alex Shelley. Now, the one thing that was interesting, ABC were involved in this match. Now, they were separated, but the one thing that was true to them, they were not even going to fight each other, no matter what the fans want or whoever said. But, of course, it did help in every way else possible. But I think many people were surprised that it was Kosa Fujita who picked up the win when he applied a bridge suplex onto Cheeseburger. Many people say Kosa Fujita will be a rising star, but right now he's going to be on excursion for a little while, and As you know, he graduated recently from the New Japan Dojo, but he's no longer a young lion, so that's great for him. Now, our next match, we have a five-way scramble match. We have Casey Navarro, Fugas, Soberano Jr., Leo Rush, and Dragon Kid. I have to say this is a pretty good match. I have seen Soberano Jr. live before a couple years ago. Um, Fugas, I'm not familiarized with him. He's the one, to me, as the wild card who I don't know much about. I mean, I am familiarized with Navarro, Soberano, Rush, and of course, Dragon Kid. So, anything, all four of them I'm familiarized with. But that Fugas, oh, my bad. I'm so sleepy. Anyway, anything could possibly happen in these type of matches of scramble because someone will definitely have to pick up the win. But unfortunately, it was of course Soberano when he spot pile drive Leo Rush just like that. But he also embraced Fugas, who's making his debut. I don't think this is the first time he's ever been in the U.S., but yes, I'm not familiarized with Fugas, but I hope I can learn more about him. Next match, we have the East-West Express. Nick Wayne and Jordan Oliver taking on Mao and El Desperado. I have to say, what an impressive match. I mean, Nick Wayne and Jordan Oliver. Now, according to the commentators, they became close because of their love for Japanese wrestling. And I think this is something great. As you know, recently Nick Wayne has traveled to DDT, did a 2-day show with them. But it was a great experience. Even Nick Wayne did some shows in New Japan when they were collaborating with Freedoms. Mao from DDT, of El Desperado from New Japan, but recently he's been acting as a freelancer. That's what he's been doing. But it's interesting to see this combination. I think this match blew my mind, but in the end, it was El Desperado with the pinche loco onto Jordan Oliver to pick up the win, and it was impressive. But in the end, of course, Mao and El Desperado gave the respects to Nick and to Jordan, saw that they are the future of what pro wrestling should be, and I think they are embracing. I think we would like to see more of them in New Japan. I think that's what we want to see. Now, our interesting match, this one is called the Philly Cheese Cup, with a three-way match in a three-way match tag ladder match. Now, up in the freaking rafters is some chili cheesesteak. This was an idea that was brought upon both Haramu and Rocky, so they were one team. The other team was Lowrider and Doiki. Now, those two are familiarized with each other due to their time in Mexico. As you know, Lowrider has spent time in Mexico in the past, so that's pretty interesting. If you guys aren't familiarized with Lowrider, you may have seen him in Sammy Guevara's vlogs. He is one of his buddies who he traveled with down in Mexico. And of course, we have Blake Christian with Master Wato. Now, anything could have happened in this match. This was carnage, but I think the most memorable moment was Doiki, who put Haramu right through the ladder, and he was the one who got up and pulled down the bag full of Philly cheesesteaks, and that ended right there. I'm kind of wondering how Haramu and Rocky are going to feel, because they seem like a good team, even though they seem like they can get along great. But we'll see. Now, our next match is our main event, which is the finals of the All-Star Junior Tournament. We have Mike Bailey versus Kevin Knight. Now, this match was pretty good, but the one thing that was impressive is that Kevin Knight pushed Mike Bailey to the limit. Now, you don't often say that. Mike Bailey has been considered one of the best wrestlers in the world, and no one pushes him to the limit, but he did. Now, you probably would have assumed that that Kevin Knight knows exactly what Mike Bailey was going to do. You can say that, but unfortunately, it was Mike Bailey with the Flamingo driver that put him away. But in the end, of course, he gave out a promo. He saw that Kevin Knight is, in no doubt, on his way to the top. So he saw that if a guy like him can push the limits, that means the sign is saying he will be a much bigger star sooner than we think. So that's pretty great. But he also gave something that was very interesting in the promo that was right. For a long time, junior heavyweight competitors were never considered as the main attraction. This is something I learned from two different occasions. If you follow history, um, Paco Alonso never did consider the junior heavyweight competitors as an attraction, but the one person who did was Antonio Peña, who founded AAA Lucha Libre. And in Japan, the same thing goes with All Japan. Misawa felt that they weren't giving too much credibility with the junior heavyweight division in All Japan until he made it credible when he started Pro Wrestling Noah. So that's to me, that has also been history that was talked about. But of course, now we're seeing we have the best junior heavyweight competitors in the world. However, Mike Bailey wants something that he felt that he deserved. If you guys remember clearly, back in the best of the Super Juniors, Mike Bailey defeated Hiromu Takahashi. So that means he's cashing in what he had in his back pocket. He told Hiromu that even though they're teaming up the following day, but he wants a shot of the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. So of course Hiromu accepted. So that's going to be great. Now we don't know when that's going to happen, but for me, if I'm a betting man, I would say this match could happen in October, but we'll see how that goes out and about. I think that's pretty much it for the All Star Junior Festival USA. Let's move on with Multiverse United. Okay, Multiverse United, a two for whom the bell tolls. This is a collaboration between both New Japan and Impact Wrestling, and this is a pretty good show to enjoy. Now, our opening match, we have an 8-man scramble match. We have Mao, Kevin Knight, Rich Swann, Yo, Frank Kazarian, Bushi, Chris Sabian, and El Desperado. So we have the best wrestlers in the junior heavyweight and X division in the same ring. Now, in these scrabble matches, anything could happen. Uh, Basically, you probably have your favorites who's gonna win. Now, to me, I was a bit biased because when it comes to scramble matches, anything is a possibility. But I can tell you that this match ended with Chris Sabin applying the cradle shock onto Yo to pick up the win. However, during the post match, Bushi comes out to congratulate Chris Sabin, not until he decided to black mist him in the face. So I don't know why Bushi, of all people, decided to do that. But maybe he did it because he wanted to. Who knows? Now, our next match, we have a matter between TMDK versus Team Impact. For the Impact Wrestling side, we have Moose and Eddie Edwards. Now, those two, they used to be friends and tag partners, but now they decided they need to represent Impact Wrestling. Now, we have, of course, TMDK represented by Shane Hayes and Zack Sabre Jr. Now, some of you may say that this match will probably fall in favor of TMDK since they're much of the fan favorites in this particular match. I mean, Zack Sabre Jr., we can consider him being one of the best technical wrestlers in the world. But, however, this match ends with Moose spearing Shane Hayes, giving Team Impact the win on this one. Now, our next match is the first of two title matches, the New Japan Strong Women's Championship. Ever since Giulia has become the champion, apparently there were challengers coming left and right. Momo Kogo was amongst them. Momo, in the other hand, was the one who reminded Giulia that she and Wilton Nightingale defeated her in Tekla in night one of New Japan Strong's Independence Day show. Of course, Giulia, doesn't think that Momo has what it takes or is a championship material girl and all this. But I want to be straightforward about Momo. I have to say Momo has made a big impact being in of course, in this being part of making her appearance in the U.S. I mean, if you guys saw what she did in Resurgence back in May, people were behind her. You know, she gave an awesome performance, and I said the same thing. I think many fans felt that why is Stardom wasting their time with Momo? I mean, she hasn't picked up. She's been getting a lot of losses. I remember how she cried when Waka won her first match, and I think she's in that same predicament. But however, the other opponents is Deonna Purrazzo. Now, Deonna Purrazzo sent out a video message during a Stardom show. I think it was the Stardom show on the, what was it? On the 13th? No, I can't remember. Oh yeah, it was like earlier this month. Giulia was part of a. I think oh yeah, it's after she defeated you, I believe, and of course this happened. But however, Deonna Purrazzo called her out, and then Giselle Shaw decided to weasel her way into the spotlight, feeling that she should be the one in this match. But of course, 4 ways anything's possible. But we saw how Momo and Giulia tried to collaborate a little bit to take on the talent from Impact. But you probably would have thought maybe Deonna Purrazzo was going to walk out. But nope, it was Giulia who did that with the Northern Lights bomb. So she picked up the win. But the obvious question now remains when it comes to Giulia. Many fans would say, who is her next opponent? Well, she did say in an interview that bring all comers. I think she wants to face the best wrestlers in the US. So we'll see who will respond to that. Now our next match. Originally, it was supposed to be a straight-up match between Sami Callihan and Doiki. However, Sami Callihan, who is no stranger to hardcore and death matches, decided to turn this match into a South Philly street fight. However, he told the ref, you don't have the right to say it's going to happen. So he asked Doiki, and Doiki said yes, and then Isiguri his face. So this match was bloody violent, pain, going through tables and all that. But it was in fact Callihan with the Cactus Driver 97 on Doiki through the chairs that picked up the win. So just like that. Now, much like what we saw earlier with the junior heavyweight competitors, we have Kosa Fujita and Robbie Eagles, TMDK, challenge the former IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, Catch 2-2 of United Empire, TJP, and Francisco Akira. This match was pretty good, I have to say. I mean, we have seen Kosa Fujita has learned a lot, but in the end, Fujita fall victim of the double knee by both Catch 2-2 and giving them the win. Now, our next match is the World versus Bullet Club. Representing the World, we have the French-Canadian Frankenstein, PCO, the DKC, the Walking Weapon, Josh Alexander, El Phantasmo, and the GOD, Tongaloa and Tama Tonga. Now they take on the Bullet Club, consisting of, what's his name? Clark Connors, the ABC, Kenta, and yeah. So basically, Clark Connors, just like that. So anyway, as you know, with oh yeah, and Alex Coughlin, I forgot. So anyway, this match, as you know, the war between the Bullet Club and God, along with El Phantasmo, is not even done yet. Now, keep in mind, the story continues with El Phantasmo, who hasn't forgotten how he was expelled from the Bullet Club because he did not like the idea of what David Finlay did. Let's recap a little bit of what happened, if you guys remember. As you know, in the past, when it comes to the Bullet Club leadership, the members have the tendency to attack their leaders. We saw that with Finn Balor when he was known as Prince Devet. We saw that with AJ Styles and Kenny. But the initial assumption was that we're going to leave, of course, Kevin Kelly will give Jay White alone. So that's something that Kevin Kelly has often talked about. However, that didn't happen. Finlay attacked him out of nowhere. But out of the blue, he becomes the new leader of the Bullet Club. So that sets the whole thing. I thought this match was pretty good. But however, the DKC fall victim to Dave Finlay when he applied a powerbomb to pick up the win. But this war between El Phantasmo and the God is not even done against the Bullet Club. There'll be another time. Don't forget, it was Tama Tonga who issued the challenge towards David Finlay for the never open weight title. El Phantasmo, along with Hikuleo, they issued a challenge for the New Japan Strong um, the New Japan Strong tag openweight tag team title. So we'll see when that day will happen. Now our next match we have Trey Miguel and Leo Rush teaming up. They take on Mike Bailey and Hiromu Takahashi. Now keep in mind Mike Bailey um, Mike Bailey is a former X Division champion. So is Trey Miguel, but they're teaming up with champions of their own. Mike Bailey with the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, Hiromu Takahashi, and Leo Rush, the X Division Champion. I thought this was a pretty good match, but however, in the end, it was Leo Rush who got away with it by low blowing Hiromu, picking up the win. But however, it seems that Leo Rush hasn't forgotten. If you guys remember clearly, Leo Rush did challenge Hiromu for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship, but however, he is saying that he should be the one challenging him for the belt. Now, we know that Mike Bailey has issued a challenge. Now, I don't know if they're going to make this into a three-way, who knows? But anything's a possibility. Now, our main event is the Impact World Championship. We have Hiroshi Tanahashi taking on Alex Shelley. Now, one thing that was clear is, of course, Alex Shelley was smart enough to figure out how to not slow down the Ace by any means necessary. So that kind of played out pretty well. Of course, there was too many dragon sweeps that Tanahashi did, but in the end, of course, it was the shell shock by Alex Shelley to Hiromu Takahashi. Hiroshi Tanahashi to pick up the win. So, this is another disappointing loss. I know that Tanahashi is trying to get back on his winning ways, possibly get back championship gold, but we'll see what happens in the future for him. Alex Shelley, as you know, will be heading straight to Resurgence to be in a 8-man tag match along with Sabin, Kushida, and Josh Alexander. So we'll see what happens. But right now, let's move on with the lasting news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news update. So this is going to be a very short one for all of you. Now, as you know, I talked about Giulia retaining her title. However, one of the most critical things was revealed during the Multiverse United event. Giulia was announced that she's going to be part of the New Japan Strong event at Las Vegas in October. Is it October? Yes, in October for Fighting Spirit Unleashed. Now, the obvious question we all say, who's going to be her opponent? Now, we don't know who it was, but however, Dave Meltzer heard a rumor that they were considering possibly putting Stephanie Valkyr as her opponent. Now, nothing against Stephanie Valkyr, but I felt it could have been a much stronger opponent. Now, to me, I was kind of hoping it would be Toni Storm, because recently Toni Storm has been saying stuff about Giulia and all this other stuff. Same thing Giulia was doing back and forth. But I probably would have liked to see that, Toni Storm versus Giulia. But I wouldn't be surprised if Giulia makes the decision to pop up in AEW and have the challenger in her turf. That's something that is the possibilities, but it's not far off. Now, some of you may ask, who is Stephanie Valkyr? Well, Stephanie Valkyr is one of the women's wrestlers in CMLL. She was part of the tournament that determined who was going to be the first ever New Japan Strong Women's Champion. Her opponent was none other than Mercedes Moné. That was around the time when Mercedes injured herself when she lost to Will Nightingale. So I have to say, if it is her, I will be okay with the match, despite the fact. So, Giulia did say all comers are welcome anywhere in the U.S. or in the world. So that sets it all. Now, every year, as you know, we have one of those things kind of like War Games taking place. GCW has their show kind of like the Art of Wars. Their War Game show takes place on October. They already announced somehow. Someone said that they're gonna have a GCW versus Freedoms, the deathmatch promotion out of Japan. So there was rumors that they're gonna have Jun Kasai, Masashi Takeda, Takashi Sasaki, Violento Jack, and Todo Segura. Now for Team GCW, that is still undetermined, so anything's a possibility. Finally, as you know, recently for Deadlock Pro Wrestling, we have a brand new national champion, and that is none other than the bounty hunter, Brian Keith. So Brian Keith will put his title on the line late next month on the 17th at the Carolina Classic. He takes on against Sean Skywalker. So that's gonna be a good match. And I think that's pretty much it what we have. So let's just call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode coming up. I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do. I know I missed out on GCW stuff. I think I'm 5 shows behind for the 2 homecoming shows. My name is No Signal on the Hills, and of course the Explosivos stuff. I haven't seen the latest N1 Victory shows by New Japan yet, so I'll be going through all that. So I'm a little behind on those, but we'll see what happens until then. But I'll just wing it, see how it goes from there. So for now, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. And have a nice day. Bang.